Hey everybody, welcome back. It's John Burns here with JonBurnsFineArt. Just wanted to show you this latest rotational casting machine that I've made. It's actually quite simple. It's just a frame and a crank handle that is just black pipe, in this case galvanized piping, and I'll show you how this rotational casting machine works. All right. This is a simple rotational casting frame slash machine, rotocaster. You can build this at home. You don't even need a drill press. I mean, if you wanted to and just stuck to a hand drill and a handsaw, you could do it. It's not bad, and you can pick up all this stuff at like Home Depot or your Jerry's or Menards or wherever you're at in the country. So pretty awesome. Please like if this video did you some good, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. Please check out the description down below for the items and materials used in this video, and I have my social media links down there, and please share this with a friend. They're gonna love you, and thank you for introducing them to all this free education on sculpture. Yeah, so this is my new mold, right? Mercedes. My last videos covered me creating her and creating this mold. So this is pretty much ready to go. I just need to take the bottom off and maybe make sure there's enough grease on the bottom. I'm going to set that to the side. So this is the casting inside of that mold. She looks pretty good. Pretty happy with the results. So this was just a half batch. I'm going to step it up. No, this was a third batch. I'm sorry. I'm going to step it up to a half batch. This is all the machine is right here. So that'll sit on here and I'll just turn it. But the nature of it is not just like a spit, you know, that you would roast a hog on. She's going to be diagonal. So it's going to keep the Hydrostone moving back and forth from one end to the other. So she's not turning like this per se. She's going to be turning like an oarsman, the way an oarsman would move the oars on a canoe. Okay, so let's not waste any more time, let's get going. Okay, so I just want to give you a rundown really quick what's going to go down, how it's going to happen. This is my mold. Here's the bottom. I have this board covered with Vaseline, soaked with Vaseline. So then I have a 1 1/4 inch bolt, 1/4 inch, right? It's in there, so that's ready to go. That's going to be for the base after this is cast. So in theory that should sit around there. So I'm going to turn this mold this way since I'm right-handed. I'm going to pour it in so you won't see me do that, and I mean you won't actually see it run in there. Path of least resistance, I'm going to pour it down the front where it's got like a smooth channel. This backside has a lot more ripples. So I just want to get it in there initially with little bubbles. Quiet plaster is the key. Alright, so this is the next day. I could tell, I was watching this bowl, as you noticed, and I could see where this was going from wet to a type of a waxy look, you know, and then it ended up looking like a satin finish and then dry. So once it was at the satin stage, I was touching this and trying to scrape it. That was my litmus test to see if this had finished setting up inside of the mold. So I could hear it sloshing when I would start going faster, but I don't want to go too fast because I could feel it's, you know, I don't want to sling it in a way where it favors one side and then stays there. So I was just letting it roll gently and moving through. So anyway, it got to a point where you can tell it's set because it always returns back to the same spot. And you could see how maybe I had a little bit of trouble getting this in here right away, but I'm sure with a couple dry runs or practice drills, you'll be able to get the mold in here without having to feel like you're rushed. But hey, this is so simple. You know, this box, I've basically just framed it and then put these braces on the outside and some black pipe, a flange with, what is that, like a 4 or 5 inch pipe. Took these posts, drilled them from underneath through that board for stability. You know, ran a drill through it and then cut the notches and freed it up. So pretty sweet setup. Yep. So I drilled and tapped the pipe on this end, cut off the threads. Then I drilled a hole through this. I might recreate this handle. This basically has a hole drilled through it, so that, you know, the handle sits in here, goes through it, and then I can crank it. That's the idea there. You can, it could have just been a straight. I just, you know, as an artist, I wanted to do something with a little more of a French curve style. Taking that off so I don't accidentally lean on it. And let's take this strap off. Suppose if you wanted to run duct tape around this, I know that seems a little bubbified, but that would work also, and probably a lot faster, honestly. That's all it is. Drilled through and then notched. You know, measured up the same height for the center before I drilled that out. So I don't know if you can see this well enough. Okay, I took all the bolts out. Anyway, this bottom is hollow, and this plaster is still soft. It still has water in it. So it cast around the screw here, but this is also very wet, and so with that filled up completely with plaster, I can just drop that back on there, let it set, pull it out, and I'd be good to go. So now I'm just gonna let bygones be bygones and not worry about that screw. It looks good. This is a successful casting. Very good casting. There are some thin areas that I can patch up. I mean, this is hollow. And I would only know how hollow by breaking it open. So I'm not willing to do that. Not yet anyway. If you have a fixed amount of Hydrostone, like this one was only mixed halfway, you can get a very good coverage with a simple mechanism like this. It looks good. It's a good casting. I'm proud of it. This one is, in my opinion, sellable. So it just needs to have a finish on it. There's very minuscule air bubbles. It looks more like a very mild, sparse pitting. And that paint would just glide right over that paint, like a faux surface. For example, the bronze acrylic from Sculpt Nouveau. Yes, sir. You know, I'm very excited to do this with a resin casting now. I know that 50% will give me a really good coverage. Cold cast bronze resin casting. So I look forward to doing that. I'll have to decide on whether I want to do something that looks like bronze or aluminum. In this case, I think I'm going to do the aluminum because Mercedes uses a lot of aluminum and chrome, and the aluminum I think would look good with the Mercedes star. The sculpture is titled Mercedes. So.